What's up, guys? Stas here. So check it out. The markets did not do well today. We were red all across the board, and we got to break it down in this video. We're going to go over some charts, stocks I'm looking at, 5 of which reported earnings after the bell, so we got to break down some earnings as well. And I want to go over what I'm doing in the market, so sit back, relax, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to get your 10 stocks from Moomoo with a $100 deposit and your 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. All those free stocks are linked down below. And with that being said, let's dive right into the video. So like I said, guys, we did not have a good day at all in the markets today. We had the Dow Jones go down 0.2%. As you guys can see, the S&P went down 0.4%. Russell went down 1.4% as we had the NASDAQ go down 1.1% on the day. So not good at all. And we can see here, if we look at SPY starting off, we are noticing buyers came in, and you can see this on the intraday chart. Even though we had a red day, we still saw buyers come in at about $410 to about $411 a share here on SPY. You guys are seeing that. And did I not say, and I mentioned this in my video before, the video from the morning, I mentioned how 410 is a big level of support, stemming back from not yesterday, but from Friday, where we ended up holding in the morning on Friday. So 410, the fact that buyers came in is a good sign, but what we have to realize is here on SPY, on the 20-day chart, we closed under the 180 and the 50 SMA. So I would say in the very short term, we're talking in the past 2 days, 2 trading days, bears still have the advantage for sure. But if we scroll back a little bit, peel back the layers, bulls overall are still dominating the 20-day chart. There's no questioning that. But we're in a tight spot here. What direction are we going to pick? Is SPY going to break out of 413, which would be good, obviously, for the bulls, or is SPY going to end up dumping under 410? That would be where bears might start gaining momentum towards 407, and if that were to break, this might go down even lower, maybe down towards lower 400s. We shall see at that point what could happen or what will happen from there. And for Triple Q, let's pull that up. Triple Q closed down over 1.1%. And the main difference here is between this and SPY. SPY held the highs from Friday, right? Triple Q did not. In fact, we broke the highs from the lows rather from yesterday as well. I meant to say lows there, guys. So Triple Q closed at 317. The lows from yesterday were 319. The lows from Friday were right around 318. So we clearly broke under those lows, closed under the moving averages on the 20-day chart, just like SPY. But if we look at the 20-day chart here, guys, in the grand scheme of things, the bulls are still in charge, at least over the past couple of weeks, based on what I'm looking at least. And the main support coming up here, I'd say, on Triple Q is right around $311, $311.50, $312. That was the low point from the beginning of August. So that's a quick little breakdown of how today ended up playing out, where we ended up closing. We did get, again, like I said on SPY, we did get some buyers come in at the end of the day, which is good, but we're still not really solidifying the breakout to the upside, neither on Triple Q or SPY, right? And that's why we have to wait and give it a couple of days, maybe even just tomorrow, let the dust settle. Not even the dust settle, but we just have to be patient and see what direction we end up picking. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, I want to know what you guys are up to, what you guys think. And for me today, I didn't make many moves at all, to be honest. I only bought some VOO. VOO is the S&P 500 ETF, and this is what I talk about when it comes to long-term investing. This is one that is my staple. I've talked about this a lot here on the channel. I buy VOO, which again is the S&P 500. This is an ETF from Vanguard, and a lot of people are like, wait a second, Stas, you're talking about VOO, you're buying VOO, but wait a second, you talk about SPY all the time, don't you? You're correct. I do talk about SPY, but if you go look at the nitty-gritty, which a lot of people don't do, which I advise you to do this, you got to go look at the expense ratios of your ETFs. If you look at the expense ratio on SPY and then look at the one on VOO, you're paying 3 times the amount on SPY. I think SPY's expense ratio is 0.09%. VOOs is 0.03. And at the end of the day, will you be rich or not? Let's not say rich, but will you do well long term if you invest in SPY? Of course you'll do well. We're just nitpicking here. But for me, that 3 times the expense ratio, the fact that SPY is 3x what VOO is, it makes me want VOO. And that's what I've been buying for years at this point, and I continue buying it. Every so often, guys. This is not one that I'm buying once a year. This is one that I'm buying pretty much every week. Sure, there's a week or two that might go by where I don't buy it, but for the most part, I'm dollar cost averaging into VOO all the time. So what do you guys think? Do you have VOO? Do you have SPY? VTI is another one, which is a little bit different. It's the total U.S. stock market index fund. It has mid cap and small caps, whereas the S&P 500, that is, the largest companies, 500 largest companies, so there's not small caps, right? So VTI is even more diversification. You have VT, there's VXUS. There's a lot of, different ones here that I'm not going to dive into in this video. So what do you guys think? Again, let me know. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Make sure to subscribe as well. And let's dive into some stocks here as I'm losing my voice. We got to go over Coinbase. Coinbase just reported earnings, and if you guys have been watching my channel, we were not expecting the best numbers from Coinbase. They ended up doing, what was it, $4.98, 98 cents, actually less, or rather worse than what we expected. I mentioned in my previous video the average EPS estimate was negative $2.68. Well, they came in at negative $5 almost. So they lost $5 per share in EPS. They missed the estimate by a long shot. And revenue was at $802 million, which missed the $830 million estimated. So they're down 50%, more than that year over year when it comes to revenue. And the monthly transacting users, let's see here, they were at 9 million versus the 8.3 million estimated. Okay, I guess that's a good metric there. But trading volume came in at $217 billion, which was under the almost $220 billion estimated. So Coinbase, like expected, guys, they did not do well. And like I mentioned in my previous video, I would not be surprised. This is what I said. If Coinbase stock were to go down, and lo and behold, it was down 10% when I was making that video, and it's down another $4 after the bell here. Let's pull it up. You guys can see Coinbase closed at $87, and now it's at 83. So it is down about 5%, another 5% here after the bell. And if we go back to the 4-hour chart, we are noticing we're now getting awfully close to these moving averages, and we're actually right now at $80, $82, testing a resistance point from the end of May, which is now support. Also, right around the end of July, we hit about $80, $81. Now we're testing it. So if this point breaks, if we breach 80, we're probably going to go down 75, hit that 50 SMA. If that were to break, we might be right back down into the 60s just like that. And that could happen, with the hype slowly deflating out of the stock now. That could happen considering we got that BlackRock news. It had a huge run up. It was running up before we got that BlackRock news. Now it's starting to come down after a bad earnings report. I'm afraid that this selling could continue, which is why I'm staying away from Coinbase. At this point, I'm just staying away from it, and I'm watching it, and I'm going to be looking to see what it does if it gets into the 70s. We shall see, or right around $80 here at those previous resistance points that I mentioned. So Coinbase, what do you guys think? Do you own it? Let me know. I do not own Coinbase. Roblox is one that also reported, and oh my goodness, brace yourselves. And by the way, I got this new what is this, a mouse. I haven't had a mouse in a long time, guys. This is the Logitech, and no, it's not sponsored. I just literally got this because my thumb has been freaking killing me because I have a MacBook Pro, and a lot of editing, a lot of just computer work throughout the day. This is what I do: make content, trade, do YouTube, whatever, and my hands are killing me. So I got this, and it's the MX Master 3, and you guys probably know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, I have that too. I had no idea about these, mice. I guess you call them mice, right? Or mouses. It's not mouse, it's mice. I had no idea about these, but let me tell you, man, I just got this today, and this thing is unbelievable. It is, I can already tell. I'm not feeling any hand pain. It's a game changer, and I don't know what, you don't know what's that saying? I've been missing this, and I didn't even know it, right? And now I have it. It's great. I can't even picture not having this. So, yeah, again, MX, what is it? I'm going to give them credit. This is not a sponsor. Again, not a sponsor. MX Master 3. This thing is pretty sick. And, of course, it's the first day I've had it. Who knows? It might break down in a week or two, but, I mean, it's pretty cool for now. Anyway, RBLX, Roblox. It is down a while here, and if you guys hear it clicking, that's the mouse as well. I'm not sure if the mic's going to pick that up, but the laptop MacBook Pro mouse, you can't hear the click. But on this new mouse, you can hear clicking, so just know that's the mouse, if you can even hear it. Hopefully you can hear it. I actually hope you guys can't hear it. But overall, Roblox is down 23% after the bell. This is bad. EPS came in at negative 30 cents versus negative 21 cents. Estimated revenue $591.2 million versus $645 million. So double miss for Roblox. They're losing money. And their daily active users for Q2 were up 21%, looking at right around 52.2 million. So that growth has come down. If you guys were looking at Roblox in 2020, 2021, you saw that growth was way more than 21% for daily active users. But I guess 21% is still respectable. Q2 hours engaged were at 11.3 billion versus the 11.75 billion estimated. So imagine that, guys, 11.3 billion hours. That is just... You can't even fathom that. That's an insane amount of time. But that's what the hours engaged were for Q2. And again, that missed the 11.75 billion estimate. So Roblox is down a good chunk after the bell. And by the looks of it, guys, this is a falling knife. This is going to need at least a couple of days to let the dust settle. And believe it or not, it's crashing, but it still looks like it's holding an uptrend. It seems like it is well under the 50 SMA now with this crash under the after the bell, but it looks like it's above the 180 SMA. It's trying to hold that right now at about 38, 39, 40 bucks. That's where it's at right now. And for me in the short term, again, I'm going to give it a couple of days to let the dust settle. I'm looking to see if the dust settles low 40s, even though it's under 40 now, but who knows, maybe it pops back up a little bit. Low 40s, high 30s, that's where we have to watch it. And let me see, if I draw out a channel here, are we at the top of or bottom of the channel now? It looks like we are. Let me just draw this. I'm going to butcher it, but bear with me here, guys. Yeah, it looks like we're pretty much at the bottom of the channel. Might have a little bit more work to the downside, maybe mid-30s, but Roblox could be, keyword is could be, a bounce back play, potentially, if we do see buyers come in, the dust settle, all that good stuff. And we have to wait a couple of days for that. And maybe it happens tomorrow, but I'm going to be cautious on Roblox, ticker symbol RBLX. So let's go to the next one here, guys, which is Plug Power. We haven't talked about this one in a while, ticker symbol PLUG. This went down on the day 3.7%. And now it's currently down another after the bell here. Let me take a look, guys. It is down another $1 and actually a little bit less than $1. We're talking about 80 cents here. But for a $24 stock, that's a decent chunk. We're talking 3.5%. So it is down another 3.5% after the bell. Q2 EPS came in at negative 30 cents, down from the negative 18 cents year over year. So their losses are widening year over year, and their revenue came in at $151.30 million versus the $164 million estimated. And let me see here, was that the estimate or was that the year over year number? No, that was the estimate. So they missed revenue. They ended up going down even more from last year's EPS loss. The losses are widening. That's not good, but they did reaffirm 2022 outlook, but it seems like the stock is not it doesn't care about that. It's selling off regardless. And, what makes this kind of makes sense to me, because if you look at the stock, and we've talked about a lot of these stocks that have run up a lot into earnings and they're selling off because earnings weren't as good as expected. This stock was up 60% heading into earnings just from 12 days ago. I mean, come on, guys, 60%, and the earnings were pretty bad. What do you think's going to happen? The stock's going to go up? I mean, come on. This is probably going to retrace a little bit more, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if Plug Power came back towards 18, 20 bucks, 21 bucks a share, right around this 180 SMA. So there's more work in my eyes to the downside here for Plug Power. And I could be wrong, but I'm being patient on it. I'm not rushing it. There's no shot I'm rushing that one. TTD, let me pull that up. Why did it pull this up? That's not the right one. The Trade Desk is what I want to talk about here, guys, which is completely ripping. Finally, a stock that's moving up. This closed at 54.50. Now it's at 63.30. It is up a whopping 18%, 17% after the bell on adjusted EPS of 20 cents, which came in line versus 20-cent estimate on revenue of $377 million versus $364.87 million estimated. So in line on adjusted EPS and a beat on revenue. Nice beat. And the thing that's probably moving the stock the most here, at least what I'm seeing, is Q3 sales of $385 plus million. That's what they see for the next quarter versus the $383 million estimate. So it's not a huge beat on guidance, but it is a beat nonetheless when a lot of companies are not doing well at all at this point in time. Let's just be real. So it's moving up. Guidance above estimates, that is good. I like this one in the short term, guys, although it is a little overbought now on the 4-hour chart. I wouldn't really touch it, but if it were to come down a little bit, maybe as the dust settles in the next couple of days, maybe next week or two, I'd consider it. I'd consider it if we get that dust to settle. So the next one is Wynn, WYNN is the ticker, Wynn Resorts. Let's see what this is doing. So last time we covered it, we talked about the inverse head and shoulders. It looks like that is still in play as of now. We have the neckline at about $58. We're currently well above that neckline. If we draw it out, you guys can see what I'm talking about. So even if it comes down another couple bucks, inverse head and shoulders is still intact. So Wynn Resorts did 82 cents EPS in the red, so they lost 82 cents versus the $1.01 loss estimate. So they beat EPS, and they actually, or I was going to say they beat on revenue. They did not beat on revenue, guys. $908.8 million revenue versus $980 estimated. So they missed revenue, beat EPS. The stock is down $2 after the bell. So we closed at 66. Now it's down to 64. It is down another 3.5% on the day. And this stock has just been pounded. I mean, if you guys have seen Wynn in the past couple of months, you've seen it go from mid-hundreds to now $66. I mean, this thing's down 55%. And a lot of this, I mean, there's China risk here. That's a big reason. A lot of their business is in China. And not only do people not want to invest in Chinese companies, they also don't want to invest in companies that have a lot of business in China, which Wynn does, a lot of other companies do, so that makes sense. That is down a decent amount considering Alibaba, a lot of other Chinese stocks are down a huge amount. So for me at this point, Wynn is a wait-and-see stock. I'm not looking to dive in on it yet. I'm not looking to just write it off either and throw it out the window. I'm kind of just keeping it on the watch list. We're going to see what it does. Right now, it is above the moving averages on the 4-hour time frame, but again, we do have that inverse head and shoulders, which implies there might be a little bit more work on the downside here, maybe to the high 50s, lower 60s, even 60, 61. So be careful with it. That's Wynn Resorts. Let's talk about two more now that did not report earnings. And if you guys are still here, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Do not forget to get your 10 stocks from Moomoo with a $100 deposit. We mess up sometimes, guys. And your 12 stocks from Webull with any amount deposited. All those free stocks are linked down below. And now let's talk about Microsoft, which crushed it today, guys. Have you noticed? I mentioned this in my previous video. Microsoft at the close was the only big tech name that went pretty nicely in the green. Apple broke even, slightly green, but MSFT, Microsoft, went up 0.7% on the day, and we're noticing a nice bounce off the 50 SMA here, and we aren't fully breaking out by any stretch of the imagination on Microsoft, but we are now starting to make a move towards a multi-day resistance, being about 285. 285 has been a big resistance on Microsoft since the beginning of this month, maybe the end of July. Yeah, end of July. And now that I'm looking at it, we also have an ascending triangle. Do you guys see it? Ascending triangle. Again, we got buyers above the 50 today here on the 4-hour. So if we do crack above 285, I'm going to set my alert right now. Mark is at or above 285. Let's do that. Boom, 285 bucks. If this starts to move past there could be a nice gap to about the next gap would be up towards 295, maybe pushing 300 a share. So the last stock for the video, guys, is Dollar Tree. Let's pull that up. Ticker symbol DLTR. You guys can see it. We have a wedge here on Dollar Tree. We hit a high of 177 bucks a few months ago. And let me get the oval tool out. Give me a second here, guys. You see that? Boom, 177. We hit here at about 174, but in the same time, during that same time period pretty much, we were also making some higher lows. Look at that, higher lows. You see those higher lows, guys? Boom. Now we're getting towards the top of the wedge here. We're above the moving averages, and I believe if we take out mid-170s, which we're not quite there yet. We're under 170 actually, but if we start getting over 175, which is where I'll set my alert here, we break the wedge, there could be some momentum coming in on Dollar Tree, at least in my opinion. You know, if we take a look at the chart, 175 breaks, are we going to go to all-time highs? I think so. Yeah, all-time highs right around the corner, in my opinion. Even though it looks very overbought on the max chart, it doesn't mean it can't go even higher, guys. You got to realize that. And, of course, don't trade based on these videos. You got to do your own research, as always. But in my opinion, 175 breaks, we're probably going to hit the 180s. So that's it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. And again, for the 5th time, don't forget to get those stocks, 10 stocks from Moomoo and your 12 stocks from Webull, link down below. Check out my Patreon as well if you want all my buys, real-time buys, sells, call-outs, morning videos, everything I'm doing in real time. That is on Patreon, link down below, or you can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon. And with that being said, cheers, guys. I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for your support. As always, peace out.